video, we build a firewall or a bulkhead to separate me from the fuel cell inside the car, and we're doing it low buck style. Let's go. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I'm Matt. One of the things I'm going to concentrate on is safety. And one of the big tasks that I need to go ahead and just tackle, get out the way, rather be safe than sorry, is we do have our fuel cell inside of the car along with our surge tank over here. So the plan is to create a firewall. I've considered mounting all this stuff under the car, but really don't have a whole lot of room here with this all-wheel drive system. The biggest part of it all is coming up with a solution to block the rest of this off. We've got a few materials here to go ahead and solve that issue. So I went ahead and got some angle aluminum. It's not angle iron, but it's aluminum. This is 1x1 by 1/8 of an inch. And then we have some 60-65 aluminum, I believe it is. Maybe it's 50-52. So I think the first thing I'll do is build a structure for that sheet of aluminum to go in. We're gonna do this pretty simple, low buck style. I don't have a bead roller or anything fancy like that. I just want to build a firewall. I mean, it's a Chevy Cruze. It's not exactly a show car, but we just want it safe. We want it safe and not have to worry about it at the track. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and we got ourselves some poster board right here in order to make some templates for the firewall. So I'm just gonna stand here for a little bit and just kind of figure out a plan of execution. I've been thinking about it for a while. There's probably a million ways you can do it, but all right, let's go. So we'll kind of X-brace it like this to keep it from tin canning. Obviously we're just mocking this up at the moment. I drew my line where, coming from this shelf, this angle here, went ahead and drew a line where I want the firewall to go. And we'll use some angle iron here along the sides and some riv nuts to just secure everything in place. Sounds good in my head. Wish me luck. Let's see how it goes. All right, I'm gonna remove some of these brackets here. They're just getting in our way. All right, we're getting to the fun part. I made a template for the firewall. It's really one big section of poster board, followed by another section here, and then we just kind of piece things together, trimming, a little taping. It's kind of a boring process to watch on video, but wherever there were gaps, went ahead and just kind of fit up some poster board pieces to really fill in those gaps. Got our aluminum down here. We'll take that template from the rear firewall, the back seat, whatever you want to call it. Pluck it right down on this aluminum. We'll trace it out, and then we got to cut it. And last night, one of the things I did is I finished up this X-brace. I used some nut certs to install this thing, and that's how we'll secure it. But I just notched it right here in order to X these things off and keep this one piece. I kind of want this to go together like some IKEA furniture. Once we have the aluminum in here, we'll put some nut certs throughout this so it all bolts up together and it will be rock solid. And then we'll figure out how we're going to mount it to the body. I imagine we'll use some of this aluminum angle, nut cert it, and then have a few spots where it just bolts right up. All right, let's trace this thing out. We've got the firewall all trimmed out, deburred. So let's go ahead and see if this thing fits. Let's go. This thing is nice and light. But does it fit? Does it fit? So there we go. It is in there and it fits quite decent. There are a few parts that need to kind of suck down in there, which will resolve with some brackets to bolt all this stuff in place. It's nice and flush up here at the top. So now my next step is to secure this with riv nuts, some more screws or bolts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a marker, trace off where the center line is within this bracket I made, drill the holes on the other side, tighten it all down, get it one step closer to wrapping that section of it up, and we'll put some rubber grommets. I have some metal liner, I don't know what it's called. It's basically like a adhesive gasket that will go around it, keep those sharp edges from cutting anything. So let's get some more work done, shall we? Let's go. Got it reinstalled and my holes marked into that angle bar where I need to drill and set up some riv nuts, that way we can attach this whole panel. One of the things I'm running into like an idiot, didn't realize that this part was a little lower hanging, so we'll have to weld in a strip of metal to go across here. Not a big deal, but we can do it. Let's get after it. Okay, so with this bar, the sheet metal's sitting completely flush against it. So I'm going to subset these riv nuts down. Just going to use a, I'm drawing a blank here, but we're going to use this to essentially sink it. We're going to sink them. Sheesh. So now, this thing is below the surface, so I'm going to do that to all of them. You go just a hair more. Good. There we go. So I'm just going to rinse and repeat for just this bar only. All right, boys and girls, it is a few days later. It is Monday. We got our firewall in. We did make this mistake here with the holes up at the top. However, because we're going from aluminum, or excuse me, poster board to this aluminum, the poster board does flex a little bit. It's a little deceiving. So there are some gaps here. I removed some sound deadening here. Over on the other side, and we do have some gaps. So I tighten this thing up a little bit with a little bit of masking tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to bite the bullet. Buy another sheet of aluminum. We'll take that out. Use that as the new template. And I'm thinking with this section, I'm going to use this as a template for some aluminum. Maybe somehow I can secure these to that aluminum. It's just secured with a little bit of It kind of looks like hot glue. Might be hard to see. You can kind of see some of it there. So maybe I can take my heat gun, remove this, use these to secure that panel. Same thing back here, because it will be hard for me to be able to drill and riv nut without removing this window. And there is some gap over here that we'll have to fill in where these plastic panels do go in for the airbags. So I think that will make things that much safer. It's gonna be a little more work, but I'm up for it. So I'm gonna remove this current firewall that's back there. We'll go get some more metal. We'll get after it. Ready to get this wrapped up. Let's go. Take some poster board and make ourselves a template. Okay, this thing is fitting up pretty well. Obviously, we don't have a ton of support here because it's just poster board. But one of the problem areas I need to address is just filling in these areas that rear deck tray just does not fill in. So that is my next goal. Same thing over there on the other side. To get the bend in the corners, I just took a welding rod, bent it up, kind of shaped it and towards where it just fit really well. So I'm gonna go ahead, trace this out, cut it, toss it in the car, rinse and repeat for the other side, and then I'll check back in. We'll see how it's going. There we go, we got our template all made up. Everything fits quite nicely. Well, I got a couple of fresh aluminum sheets here to go ahead and finish up this panel work or firewall. Time to do some tracing, cutting, get this thing closer to finishing it up. One of the things I need to do is I need to bend this piece, and I don't have a sheet metal brake. So here's my idea. Hear me out. This is a nice straight piece with a nice bend, or radius I should say. And there's these little rubber pads under here in which the pinch welds sit on. So I'm gonna put the metal there, put these blocks on top of it, raise this thing up, and then just kind of massage that bend in there. All right, got ourselves the straightest piece of metal I have here. I think with a little bit of luck, might turn out okay. Fingers crossed. Well, that doesn't look half bad if I do say so myself. Seals up quite nicely everywhere, minimal gaps. I think we need to trim that corner area over there a little bit because it's kind of popping up. And we do have a little bit, just a touch of waviness going on, but I mean, man, for what it is, I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. I might take a hammer and try and straighten some of this stuff out a little bit, which I did, but maybe I can use this flat bar right there, that aluminum flat bar, and kind of straighten it out even more. But once we get this thing all buttoned up, it'll look pretty decent. You know, it'll do its job. It won't win any show car awards, but I think it's coming out pretty nice. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm gonna keep getting after it. All right, I gave this thing a little bit of a brushed finish here. I'm gonna go back and wipe all this down with some acetone. I put a thin layer of ultra black gasket maker along this section because the plan is to completely seal this off. Off camera, I made these little brackets. We got 3 of them on each side. There are the other 3. Only thing left to do is install this thing with some lock washers and then completely seal it up with some body sealer. Man, seam sealer. We need to seal it up with some seam sealer. The NHRA rules do state that you have to seal everything up. We're gonna take that literally. That way we don't miss out on any races, failing tech, any of that stuff. So let's go ahead and install this panel, get closer to wrapping this up. Well, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Let's get back after the project. Kind of been feeling under the weather lately. It's a little colder out too, but I'm ready to pick things back up. Since the camera has been off, I went ahead and sealed this thing up. I think it looks pretty great. I do still need to go back and wipe this thing off, wipe it down, get some of those fingerprints and stuff off. Do something about this extra wiring here. And in the trunk space, this is stuff that was inside the car that we no longer need. Obviously, I used a white seam sealer, and I think to make it look a little less like an eyesore, I'm going to mask this off and then we'll give it a little bit of a light gray spray paint, just like we did in this area over here. So I'm going to go ahead and mask this thing off and go ahead and paint it, and we'll wrap this up. And just like that, boys and girls, I just used a little bit of masking tape, some of that poster board, to just kind of hide that white seam sealer, kind of blend that gray paint into our stock paint. I think it came out pretty fantastic. Did both sides. But she is ready to rock and roll. Just look at that. Not half bad for a garage job, I'd say. And we got our wiring all nice and cleaned up. On the inside over here too, I will need to go back and cap where I cut the wires right there, but that's not too big of an issue. It's mainly for the antenna and then the window heater there, but I don't want to short anything out. Wires cleaned up on this side, nothing extra or funky going on. There's the extra wiring right there on the floor. Before we wrap this video up, there's some other things that I did to the car in order to make it a little bit safer. Let me go ahead and show you what that is. So what I did is I installed 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 drive shaft hoops. We got one at the very rear right here, and it bolts right up into the floor. We've got another at this joint right here, just after the viscous coupler, and with it I just bolted it straight through the floor as well. Last but not least, we've got one towards the front of this first section of drive shaft hoop, containing that shorter section of drive shaft. It's kind of hard to really show it off, but I mean, there it is. And that's bolted to where the exhaust hanger used to be, one of the supports. So those are in there nice and sturdy. I thought about doing 4 of them. I did purchase a 4th one. However, that front drive shaft section is just so short. Doesn't really need it. We've got that one to contain the whole thing. It's still within 6 inches of the U-joint towards the front of it. But if it breaks behind that, well, I mean, it's a pretty short shaft. So it'd bang around inside that drive shaft loop. So we're all good there. Next thing we'll do, next video, we'll go ahead and make a belly pan for the car. But let me know what you think of the firewall, the drive shaft hoops, down in the comment. Give this video a like. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And boys and girls, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Peace out.